NFL draft. And just like that, we say hi, hello, and welcome.
Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay.
Some team just blows them out of the water at this point in time. Come on board.
I don't even like calling it your theory. It's fine. Is that the wager you want?
Potential number of quarterback needy teams.
No fisticuffs, no issues so far? Not yet. No.
Yeah, I don't get it, Wendy.
It's clearly the best talent.
Tremendous field vision, decision-making capabilities. He can make something happen.
One of those guys that is a super freak athlete in college.
Yeah, the process complicated it, the lack of the normal process. Get a quarterback kind of attention to detail. You got to take a corner. They got to get some players who can cover.
Listen, they need an offensive tackle, but they also need a linebacker. He can play inside the box. He can play free safety, watch to go up and get the ball.
I like it, fellas.
But Tua's ridiculous. You can't say Herbert ahead of Tua.
I mean, I have questions about Herbert, but the league, there are people in the league that love Justin Herbert.
Breathe, Mel. Breathe. Breathe. Roll Tide, Mel. You going to take this one?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching Numbskull News, and today we're talking about the draft, the Dallas Cowboys draft. I'm not going to get into specific players because there's a million names you can throw out there, and it depends on who falls to them at whatever round. I want to get into positions. What are the positions most important to the Dallas Cowboys? Now, of course, they've already went through a lot of their free agency. There may be some more things coming, maybe some trades. We don't know. There's a lot of rumors. As of right now, a couple weeks out of the draft, this is what I think can possibly happen, or where the Cowboys are going to go positionally throughout the draft. I'm going to totally Alex Jones the hell out of this thing. I think the Cowboys are going to look at center, and yes, in the first round. At number 17, no. Now, there are some things that can screw this up. You know, they still have a big interest in Jamal Adams. They may trade to get Jamal Adams. However, I think the Jets really want to keep him. They're going to try to work out a long-term deal. If by training camp they can't get something done, look for Dallas to jump in at that time, offer a first, and get Jamal Adams during training camp. I don't think it's going to happen before the draft or draft night. There's a lot of people out there that may say, oh, center? I mean, everyone's talking about wide receiver. Everyone's talking about cornerback especially. Oh, that's their number one need. Well, Todd McShay has them drafting C.J. Henderson, I believe. Anyway, he has one of the top two cornerbacks falling to number 17, which I think is ridiculous because the cornerback crop is very shallow. So there's two guys really that you can call a first round type, and those guys are going to go before 17. There's just no question about that. The other corners are, maybe bottom of the first, but second round types. And I just don't think Dallas is going to get that lucky. If they do, hey, if you can get Henderson first round, I think the Cowboys may do that. However, I think they know full well that there's no way in hell the top two corners are going to fall, or one of them's going to fall to 17. It never happens. The last time the Cowboys took a center in the first round, of course, that was Travis Frederick. And what happened? They had the 18th overall pick, and they traded down to 31 to get Travis Frederick. And they traded down to 31 with San Francisco. This year, the Dallas Cowboys have the 17th pick. And if you look down the line, who has the 31st pick? I'll be damned if it's not San Francisco. And what does San Francisco want? They want a wide receiver. And although this is a fantastic draft for wide receivers, if you can get up to around 17 or 18, there's a chance that you're getting a top 3, top 4 wide receiver instead of being all the way down at 31 and just kind of getting what's left over. There may be a deal to be worked out where Dallas trades back down to 31 and snatches the top center again. And I'm definitely, that's what I'm calling to happen all over again. It may be even more likely since the 49ers have 2 picks in the first round. If you're Dallas and you can get your hands on the 49ers' second round pick for moving down, do it. Get your center. And because, look, Joe Looney's all right. He's all right. He's going to be the starter. There's a lot of talk about him and McGovern fighting it out, and they may fight it out a little bit, but it's going to be Looney. That's who they're going to go with. They're going to go with the proven guy, the guy they know they can put in there and can be productive. He's not going to be as good, but they know they can get by with him. Either way, that's a scary-ass prospect, and you're about to give Dak Prescott, like it or not, you're about to give him a shit ton of money. So you got to protect that investment. The best way to do so, offensive line. You have to replace Travis Frederick. I think that's just the way the draft is going to go. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks taken. There's going to be more wide receivers taken before 17 than usual. But you're still going to get the 2 top tackles, and after that there's a drop-off. You're going to get the 2 top cornerbacks. After that there's a drop-off. There's some nice edge rushers, but you're not real deep in edge rushers in this draft. There's some nice linebacking depth in this draft, however. But now if they take a linebacker, then you know something's wrong with Van Der Esch. You know he's screwed. The second most important position I think the Cowboys are going to look at in this draft is corner. And you could find a really good corner in the second round. And no, it's not. They're not going to be one of the top 2 guys. You know, those guys are look like beasts. But you could find yourself, whether it's Diggs or whoever, a really good, solid corner. And I think a guy that in a year or 2 could be just as good as Byron Jones in the second round. Third most important spot. And yeah, they did just sign Don Terry Poe, and they just signed Gerald McCoy. But both those guys are in their 30s. You know, they got to get some young blood in there, and I think that's one thing that they could find. Really, anywhere in the first 3 rounds, they can get a really good player at defensive tackle. 4 is safety. Yeah, they got HaHa Clinton-Dix, but it's a 1-year deal. I believe you got Jordan Lewis back there, but, you know, he's good. But they're definitely looking for an upgrade. It just depends on what players slide, you know, or who they can cheaply go up a few spots and get. Safety is still important. It's never been that important to Dallas, the safety position, and I still don't think it's going to be that important to them this year. At least not in the draft. It's not going to be. They're going to keep their eyes open, and if they can work a trade for Jamal Adams, they will. Number 5 on the level of importance would be offensive tackle. I know they're like, what are you talking about? Look, if one of the top 2 offensive tackles falls to you at number 17, the Dallas Cowboys are going to look hard as hell at that. They're going to look really hard at that because Tyron Smith is just getting older. Every year he's missing a couple of games. Lyle Collins is good. He's okay. Still think he's better at left guard, but whatever. You know, he's a decent right tackle. Maybe top 5 in the league, but although I don't think so. He's top 10 definitely, but I don't know about top 5. But yeah, they're really going to look at left tackle. They're not going to look at guard. They're not going to look at guard. Even though I wouldn't be opposed to it at all because I don't know jack shit about McGovern. I don't know. I know he got hurt. I know that. I have some hope for the guy. He looked good coming out of college. But Connor Williams, I don't trust that dude for shit. And if there's no Travis Frederick, I really don't trust Connor Williams. He needs guys next to him to cover him because he's not strong enough. He's not big enough. I think that was a poor, shitty pick when we made that. And I'm really hoping, you know, people are talking about McGovern fighting for the center spot with Looney. I'm hoping he's going to snatch that left guard spot, and he's good enough in an upgrade over Connor Williams because Connor Williams, he's a decent backup, but he ain't no starter, man. He just isn't. Now, he may shock me this year. I hope he does. But I haven't seen jack shit out of Connor Williams other than, you know, getting Dak killed. There's nothing about Connor that impresses me whatsoever. So hopefully we can see some good out of McGovern. But I think the Cowboys believe in those guys, and they're not even going to look at guard. But tackle, if they have a chance to get a really good tackle, even though it's lower on their priority list, they're going to take a hard look at that just because the future is coming. And shocking to everybody, I'm sure, wide receiver I got at the 6th most important spot. Now, they may still end up taking a wide receiver at the 3rd or 4th round because that just may be how everything comes together. But first 2 rounds, I guarantee you they're not looking at wide receiver. You just signed Amari Cooper to a shit ton of money, a legit number 1 receiver, 25 years old, good contract. You got Michael Gallup, who is now a legit number 2 receiver. So you're talking about missing a slot guy. Well, let me tell you something, and especially with Mike McCarthy, Gallup could run some slot routes. Amari Cooper can run slot routes. You know, freaking Tony Pollard can run the slot. Zeke can run the slot. You got plenty of slot options. They're going to bring in Des Bryant for training camp. I just got that feeling. He's coming for training camp, and he may very well get a job, and he'll run some slot. Now, I keep hearing, well, that wasn't his position. He was a deep threat, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was 2 years ago when he was still playing. I've seen Dez get in the slot and do some slot work before. It wasn't his forte, but he can do some of that. You know, look, Cobb got a ton of work. He got a ton of work in the slot. Now he's gone. You got to replace him. You're not going to replace him with someone who's going to get the same amount of work. It's just not. You're going to divide that up between all the people you have. Mike McCarthy's not an idiot. I think he sees a guy like Tony Pollard and say, whoa, I could put him in the backfield with Zeke and then split him out into the slot and let him run the slot and really kind of freak teams out. Or I can start Zeke out in the backfield and have him just go the slot with an empty backfield. There's all kinds of ways to do this. And the slot position can get just as much work as it got last year, but you're splitting it between 4 or 5 different guys versus just one player. And there's a ton of depth in this wide receiver crop. You can get a quality wide receiver, like a slot receiver, in the 4th or 5th round. You can find one. I'm not even worried about that. I don't think the Cowboys are worried about that. And a 7 defensive end, and that's probably going to shock some people too. Like, oh, we need pass rush. All we got is sorry ass Tyrone Crawford there. Jadeveon Clowney is still out there. Still out there. I know there's injury concern and all that kind of crap. But the longer he stays out there, and no one can really, because of the whole virus thing, no one can bring him in and get him checked out, check on that knee, see if he can push off on it right. So really, teams aren't going to sit there. They're not going to try to give him some 4 or 5 year deal right now because they don't know if that knee is going to hold up. By the time you get closer to training camp, don't be shocked if Clowney's out there for a 1 year, $15 million or something like that. And the Cowboys can swoop in and snag him just like that. And look, if it somehow some top edge rusher falls to number 17, would the Cowboys do it? Maybe. An edge rusher is not going to fall to 17. By the time you get to 17, there's going to be 2nd round graded guys left. That's it. Now you're talking 3rd, 4th round. If there's a 2nd round talent, a guy they have a 2nd round grade on in the 3rd or 4th round as an edge rusher, they may very well take him then. And there's something about this Aldon Smith thing, which it's almost ridiculous, right? The guy hadn't played since 2015, but they gave him $2 million as a base salary. That's just crazy. That's crazy. Even if there was competition, I can't see any other team offered him more than maybe $1 million. I mean, I don't know. It's a 2-year deal. Now, I know it's not, they can easily cut him. There's no guaranteed money, but that's just weird to me. That's just weird for a guy who's, that anything above just a minimum salary, just that minimum ass salary, to me is just weird. And $2 million to me is extravagant for a guy like Aldon Smith. So maybe they may have some inside information there. Maybe they think this guy can actually come in and do something. I don't know what he's going to do, but maybe. So I think between him and Randy Gregory and the bones of Tyrone Crawford, I guess they think they'll be okay there. And like I said, if not, they may be able to work out a 1-year deal with Clowney by the time training camp comes around. You know, who knows how that'll play out. But I think I just got a feeling between those things, they're not going to put the emphasis on drafting an edge rusher like you think they probably could or should. And last but not least is linebacker. Now, here's the thing about linebacker. Like I've said before, if Van Der Esch if his neck is really that screwed and they have a big worry, you look for them to take a linebacker in the first round because they're not going to play around. They're not going to play around with that position. If they can't depend on LVE giving you what they think he should be able to give you, they're going to go draft another guy. They're not going to screw around with it. And they're going to do it at number 17 because you could probably still, at 17, you can get a damn good linebacker. And you'll probably be able to get a really good one in the second round too. But I think they'll forego everything else. If Van Der Esch is screwed, they're gonna go get his replacement. If Van Der Esch is fine, they'll probably still take a linebacker. It seems like every year they take some linebackers, so they'll probably take another one. But I can't see them really. The earliest I could see them is like the 4th round. But that's only, of course, that changes if some, freak show stuff happens and some unbelievably talented guy who should have been a first rounder falls to you in the 2nd round or even the 3rd. That's the only way that happens. And of course, look, guys fall every year. Someone's going to fall in your lap. And so you may say, wow, at this point we would really, 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 really like a defensive tackle. But damn, this amazing linebacker just fell in our lap, or this amazing safety just fell in our lap. Then, that list of positions that are most important, that's going to be really dictated by the flow of the draft and how everything goes, who falls to you and who doesn't. I truly believe coming to this draft, center is probably going to be the most valued first round position that they're going to look at going for, because I think they're going to be looking at trading down and doing like they did with Travis Frederick and picking up an extra 3rd, extra 4th, maybe an extra 2nd, depending on how far down they go down. So thank God the draft is still going to be going on, though. My God. This is one hell of a sports drought. It's going to be weird, though. Everyone's going to be getting drafted through Skype, apparently. So that's going to be weird. I mean, you're used to seeing that in the 2nd round, and especially the 3rd day of the draft. But the 1st round, that's going to be weird to see all these guys. But hey, at least we're getting the freaking draft. So thank you, football, for providing us with some semblance of normality for the sports fan anyway. Anyway, that's all I have on this crap. I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.